realize that most people don't actually see what's right in front of them, even with their eyes wide open? Hi, I'm Dory. I'm a painting teacher, and I teach people how to render, which is to paint an image realistically or true to the subject they're depicting. Of course, everyone's version of accurate is different, but in general, we're reproducing on canvas, or paper in this case, what we see in front of us. Most students come in thinking I'm going to teach them some interesting tricks with a brush and paint, but that's the easy part. Mostly, I'm teaching them how to see. When I set paint swatches from the hardware store in front of my students for a color mixing exercise, they have no problem. Almost everyone will catch on quickly to mixing colors accurately with the right instruction. It's when an object is involved that people stop seeing what's in front of them. They see this instead of this. In order to help them understand what I'm training their eyes to do, and to encourage them to give themselves a break if they struggle, I give students this explanation about how our brains can make it hard for us to see correctly. When you're a baby, you see shapes and colors. The first thing your parents teach you is to name things simply. They teach you that objects and people have a border and that they are separate from other objects and people. The name and separation help you navigate life without too much complication. The brain only needs a simple symbol to remember what an object is. It needs to free up the brain to process new input. This is optimal for survival. So there's no reason to teach babies that's a robin's egg blue polyester button-down shirt on an overcast day to differentiate it from a cotton cobalt blue sweatshirt with the sleeves rolled up in the strong sunshine. We don't need that info to survive, but we do need that info to paint. We don't label this image with a title such as roundish fresh lemon sitting in strong sunshine on a crimson surface with a long cast shadow. So we carry around these simple images without really looking at things. We don't need to. These symbols overlay and obscure what's actually in front of us, and we're sure that our way of seeing is correct. Instead, we're seeing what our brain has made up from its stored impressions. Odds are we've seen lots of lemons in our life and have lots of memories about them. Maybe we've seen funny videos of babies sucking on them. We like them, we don't like them. They turn moldy when they go bad. We got drunk in the Bahamas on lemon drop martinis. My sister's favorite food is lemon bars. My friend Nick slipped on one once and broke his tailbone. All that info goes into brain storage, but it's there, affecting our ability to see lemons clearly. Clearly, meaning this lemon on this day in this light. Direct experience is what you see before your mind has a thought about it. Over my years of teaching, I've found 4 main ways in which students get caught up in visual distortion issues. The first is contrast, or lights and darks, which I've just showed you. Painting 2 separate shapes to represent the dark and light side of something is asking you to divide an object into unrecognizable bits. We don't have names for shape 1 and 2, and they don't have recognizable forms. We have to broaden our perspective from lemon to unnameable color shapes sitting next to each other, like we saw when we were a baby. Students will often say, after I've repeatedly told them to go darker in a particular area, I'm afraid. It is literally triggering a flight or fight response in that it's challenging a system that's most optimal for survival. The second way students get tripped up when it comes to rendering is that they ignore the edges between things. I teach them to blend the edges between objects and backgrounds, but they forget it easily. It's another blind spot. So this space between things doesn't have a label. It's not the object and it's not the background. It's liminal space, or the space between things, and because it would qualify as nothing to our labeling and dividing mind, it gets ignored. Blending edges is another task that makes people say, I'm afraid. Sometimes when I demonstrate blending, students gasp as if I'm ruining it. I'm blurring the lines of those solid objects that their brain wants to keep separate. The third skill that really causes a blind spot is perspective. It's a drawing issue, and many people can't overcome perspective problems without years of devoted practice, because they're dramatically challenging their ingrained object blindness. We drew this image in class recently. The one on the left is correct, but everyone in the class drew something like the one on the right. It's because almost all of us have the heart on the left as our designated stored image for that subject. The image on the right could be a shoe or a car, and when our mind overlays our generic heart image, it's a fight to see clearly. Rendering in perspective isn't just breaking up objects or blurring boundaries, it's changing their shape entirely. It's extra hard for some people to override this visual prejudice. The fourth way our brain gets in the way of seeing is when painting humans. There are many obstacles to painting human faces, but a big one is that they aren't just an object, they are also another subject like us. They see us back. This carries deeper emotional and survival triggers, including rejection or approval, among other things. It feels like there's a lot more at stake when rendering humans. I was walking on our local river path recently and saw a beautiful egret ahead. I thought, oh, what a gorgeous place this is. Aren't I lucky to live near this incredible paradise with wildlife and beauty? And then I got closer, and it was a white garbage sack hanging in a tree. I thought, how disgusting. What is this world coming to with no one caring about taking care of nature? All the beautiful places are ruined now. Look how my emotions went on a roller coaster of judgment because of one white shape. When rendering, you want to leave your beautiful egrets and your grubby garbage at the door and just focus on the direct experience in front of you. That's how you see. For rendering, the lesson here is to be a good student. Get a good teacher to help you and be easy on yourself. Our ingrained ways of seeing take practice and help to overcome. For life, and I'm pretty sure you can see how this relates to life, get a good teacher and be easy on yourself.